Well, hello there. This is Craig Hain. My students call me Dr. Dell. I have a PhD in mathematics. I'm a math teacher, have been for many decades. And I have a message in this particular video for the leaders of any private school. And in order to make sure I explain that, I'm going to share the screen with you and go to a PDF, which you can download below this video. And here's a question for you. It's all about supercharging your math program. And there's a website we're going to go to in a moment, take a quick look at. But here's a question to start out. And I'm assuming now that you are a leader and a decision maker for your school, more than likely a private school, could be public. But here's the question for you. Would you like to use a new 21st century online interactive math program for grades 7 through 12, so middle school and high school, that three things? Number one, improved the math education that you are delivering your students. And number two, lowered your school's total cost of delivering the math education you're delivering to your students. And three, made your math program the best in your community. Now, if you can answer those three questions all with a yes, then you want to continue watching this video, and I'm going to tell you how you can do it. I might also tell you that there are additional benefits. For example, if you're improving the math education of students that are failing or struggling, that might keep them in school. It certainly would help them improve their performance in other classes that depended on math. It would get them ready then, those that didn't want to go to college, to go to the military and things of that nature. And that can all be done today very, very cost effectively. Now, I explain that in a web page that I will tell you about. It's called triadmath.com/school. And Triad Math Inc. is a corporation I am the founder of. And you can go to this math page, and I'll talk to you about it in a moment and tell you all about it. And that'll be a good reference for you. But let me go ahead and continue down on this PDF first. Let's say now you go to that page and study it, and you understand it, and you say this is something that might work. Then you can set up a Zoom meeting with Dr. Dell, and that's me. And here's some preparatory questions I'd want to know when we have the meeting. First of all, how many students do you have in your school, grade 7 through 12? Doesn't matter what the answer is, but I'd like to know what teachers do you have now, and what are the cost of your teachers? What's your total cost per year, and what is your per student cost? What about course materials? What are you using? And again, what are the costs? What's the total cost per year? What's the cost per student? Now, here's the bottom line. We're going to put together a deal with you for the rest of this year that improves your program without raising your costs. And it's going to prove to your school leaders, you and your leaders, the value of Triad Math. And you're going to be amazed by it. In fact, you're going to see some testimonials from another headmaster of another school that's amazed by it. Now, there's three kinds of students that I would want you to probably try to test this on, maybe one or two in each category. First of all, any students that are struggling with math. We have a 6-tier program, and we put them in the first 2 tiers, and I'll tell you more about that later. You'll be amazed at what that does. Secondly, you may have college-bound students that are not interested in science and engineering, but they want to go to college and do well on the SAT. Well, tier 3 does that, so we put them in tiers 1, 2, and 3. Now, if you have some students interested in science and engineering, STEM, and maybe they're advanced students, it might be juniors or seniors, then we're going to put them into tiers 1 through 6, which takes them all the way through, believe it or not now, are you ready for this? Calculus and differential equations. No high schools teach that today, and we can do it because of our marvelous tool. There's a new tool that was introduced to the world in 2009 called Wolfram Alpha. And believe me, this is the key both learning mathematics and to applying mathematics. And I have then to demonstrate to you what the students will be able to do once they get through tier 6 is the STEM Math Challenge. It's just 12 questions. And if they can do it in less than an hour, and believe me, they're going to be well prepared to go to the best schools in the country. And they're going to compete with students that can do that in less than an hour. Now, the key to the whole thing is this tool. I call it augmented intelligence, Wolfram Alpha. Now, you're going to test some students out as the year goes on, because I want to prove to you, you have to prove to yourself that this is going to work. Then what we're going to do is we'll make a plan for you for next year that's going to help all of your students. And as I said earlier, it's going to lower your costs. Now, I'll tell you this right up front. What you're going to need for my program, it's all online. I'm the teacher now, with tutorial videos and notes and exercises and a learning management system and all that. You'll learn that. What you're going to need is a good coach. Now, the coach does not have to be a math teacher, let alone a good one. Doesn't even have to be a math teacher, a coach. I give coach training to be sure they are. If you happen to have a math teacher that's weak, that might turn into be a good coach or maybe not. That's something we'll have to decide and talk about. Now, the facts of the matter are, here's the final thing. Any school which adopts this triad math program can then go ahead and not only improve their school tremendously, but they can start spreading the word of the community in ways you'll find out about. And that's going to help them, number one, get more students come to their school. After all, if you're the best school in the area, where people want to go. And number two, even students that don't come to your school and take some of our training, which they can do on a homeschool basis. Many of our students now are homeschooled. Then you'll make money also as an affiliate. But the bottom line is you're going to be much better than any school that has not adopted this program. The program is what's revolutionary, and it's the modern technology we use that makes it revolutionary. And you're going to learn all about that. Now, when you go to the website I told you about, triadmathinc.com/school, supercharge your math department. First of all, let's talk about math teacher. Finding and recruiting an excellent math teacher, even a decent math teacher, can be quite a challenge and be very straining on your budget. Well, that's a solved problem now. I'm going to be your math teacher. You don't need a math teacher for middle and high school at all. I don't care if you have 1,000 students. It's all done through tutorial videos off of Amazon Web Services you'll learn about with notes and exercises. You're also not going to have to buy expensive textbooks. We do use books that are notes and exercises, but we have a very, very cost-effective printer, and they're very inexpensive. You'll be amazed by them. Now, the math curriculum, there is one curriculum that will take your students from grade 7, that's post-elementary, all the way through more advanced math than most schools ever even think of teaching. And it's very inexpensive. And it's very, very, well, what I said here is finding one curriculum that can do what ours does is very expensive and usually impossible, but ours does it and it's inexpensive. Math education. You're going to be providing the best math education possible today for all students, those that struggle and don't like math, those that don't want to go to college, those that do want to go to college, and particularly then those that want to go into science and engineering. You're going to do that. Now you say, well, how can this possibly be? Well, we have a 6-tier math program, and you can download the syllabus right here and look at it. And I'm going to click on that and do that. And there's a syllabus of the 6 tiers. Now, what you need to do is go to somebody you know, not necessarily one of your math teachers, but somebody you know that's an expert on math, that's a scientist or an engineer or somebody you trust, and have them look at the syllabus. The first thing we do is we teach a student how to use the scientific calculator. Believe me, this was an augmented intelligence tool right here. This would have been worth $1 million back during the Manhattan Project. This is how you do all your arithmetic today, is with a calculator. It doesn't have to be this one, but this is a $10 calculator that's one of the best in the world today, and that's what we teach. Once you learn that, then you can use others. And so we have 16 lessons. Now, this takes students that are struggling and don't like math and gets them turned around, gets their psychology right, builds up their self-confidence. The key to successful math teaching for any given student, number one, you've got to get their psychology right. And how do you do it? Proper content and proper pedagogy. Now, every one of these lessons is a tutorial video, usually 5 or 10 minutes long, with a set of notes to go with it and then exercises to do, and then quizzes to verify it, and then you climb the ladder. Absolutely, students love it. We have rave reviews on it. Pre-algebra. This is something to get them ready now to make sure they know the rules of arithmetic. Most of this they should have learned in elementary school, but we'll review it and make sure they understand it. Now, here's the amazing thing. Once they've done tier one, and by the way, most students go through tier one in just a matter of a few weeks, very quick. In tier two, believe it or not, we're going to teach them all of the practical algebra and geometry and trigonometry that they need for the military or for a technical trade school in one semester. 10 lessons in algebra, 19 lessons in geometry, and 8 lessons in trigonometry. And believe me, a student that goes through this and finishes tier two will know more mathematics than 95% of all the citizens of the United States and current high school math graduates. Just imagine that. Now, I talk about that back in the video here about no teacher need. I come down to the 6-tier curriculum, and I sort of give you a quick outline of what's in the 6 tiers. And tier two is practical math. I just mentioned it to you. Now, what's required of your school to do this? Well, ultimately, probably what's going to happen is once we get it going, you're going to end up paying $99 per year per student. And that'll have access to everything. Or $9 a month for 12 months if you want to do it on a monthly basis. Now, that's going to include the teacher, which is me, and access to the whole thing. Now, it does not include the books, but they're very inexpensive. And I'll tell you, and you'll learn all about them. It's amazing what the notebooks are and how inexpensive they are. And it depends on what you need there. Now, it's going to turn out, you're going to need a coach, I mentioned to you earlier. But it doesn't have to be a math teacher, just a coach. And by the way, it doesn't have to be a certified teacher. I'm the teacher. I'm the one that will certify that your students have passed and what they've done. It turns out that this total cost, I'm quite confident, is going to be less than any other math program that you're now using, whatever it may be. And I can assure you it's going to be superior to whatever you're doing now. And that's not a criticism of you or your teachers. That's just the world we live in. And that's what 21st century technology. That's almost like you're teaching math now using landline phone technology, old technology, industrial technology. And I'm using 21st century smartphone technology. That's the difference. So this is not a criticism of your teachers or your school or what you've been doing. You've probably been doing the best you can do with what you've had to work with, but now this is new technology. This is what you've got to work with. And as I mentioned, there's even better news. And the better news is you can go out now into your community and start spreading the word and offering math programs, probably tiers 1 and 2, to all the students in your community. They can do it at home. They don't have to do it at school, even the ones going to public school or some other private school, and they're going to love you for it. And some of them, when they find out this is what you're teaching, are going to go to your school. So this is probably going to help you with your enrollment. It's also going to help you with kids that might drop out because they're struggling with math, if you have some of those. And finally, if they buy our tiers 1 and 2 from us, which they can do so. For example, right now, a family can buy tier 1 and tier 2 for a student for $97. You'll get a commission on that. We'll be shared to help you offset your expenses. We also have other programs, and so anything they buy from us, you can get a commission on. So you can help make money, because after all, money is the driving force that keeps us going. But what you're really doing it for is to help the students. My number one mission in life and goal is to educate students, to benefit them in their lives. To do that, there has to be money involved because all this costs money, but the cost will be so much lower than what the current program is that it'll just be absolutely amazing to you. So if you want to get started, contact me. My website, by the way, I have a website you can go to and learn all about me. It's called craighane.com. I have a video library with lots and lots of free videos. I give away free gifts here. You can go on down and learn about the various companies we have, but Triad Math Inc. is our main company. And then my contact information is all at the bottom of this page too. My phone number and my email, craig@hain.com. My name, Craig Hain, craig@hain.com. I've had that email address a long time. I've been teaching math now for many, many, many decades. I have a PhD in math. I've taught math at all levels, Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology, Engineering, Indiana State University, Teachers Education College, IU, Indiana University, DePaul, Oberlin, lots of Western Reserve High School. And then I've done a lot of practical math training to technicians over the years in many, many subjects. Because math, you apply it to all sorts of things. And if you understand math, that opens sesame to many, many career paths. That's what you really want for your students today. The job market today is increasing dramatically. We're going into a whole new era. The technologies today are evolving so rapidly. And what you need today to get into this new job market with all the technology, you need to be literate, which you've always needed. You know about that. You need to be math literate. You need to understand basic math concepts. And by the way, what you're teaching now, if you're teaching the standard math curriculum, which almost all schools are, 80% of what you're teaching is inappropriate. It's either obsolete manual tools that they shouldn't ever bother learning, or premature theoretical material they don't need to know. And I don't do either one of those. That's why I can do what I'm doing. I love math theory, by the way, and I can teach theoretical math, but that's not what your kids need. The old manual tools, well, you can like them or not like them. I've taught them for many years, but now we have Wolfram Alpha. The manual tools are obsolete. It's like going from old carpentry tools back in the 1800s. Let's say you wanted to learn to be carpentry. You want to use the old manual tools and that's all? Or do you want to use the modern, all the electrical tools? Wolfram Alpha is like all the modern electrical tools. What they're teaching in school today is the old manual tools. That's what it is. That's what makes it so different. So this is Craig Hain. My students call me Dr. Dell. I thank you very much for watching this. I hope that you contact me and we start talking about your school. After all, it costs you nothing to have some Zoom meeting with me and educate yourself and whoever else you want to, your leader, your school leaders. If you've got a parent that's really good at engineering, science, or whatever, get them included too. They'll be very excited too. And I'll see you then on a Zoom meeting. Bye-bye.